The stars stretched endlessly across the sky, but for Captain Alara Venn they had never seemed so small. She stood on the observation deck of the Eclipse, the flagship of the United Earth Fleet, staring at the glowing colonies that humans had built in the Orion sector. Each colony pulsed with life, light, and ambition, a testament to humanity's ingenuity. From towering cities on Mars-like planets to thriving space stations orbiting distant gas giants, humans had left their mark on the galaxy. Alara felt a mix of pride and unease. Pride because humans had achieved so much in so little time. Unease because she had begun noticing subtle signs that something was changing. Reports from allied species seemed less enthusiastic than before, and whispers of human overreach had started circulating in the Galactic Council. "Captain Venn," a voice called behind her. Alara turned to see Lieutenant Corin, her second-in-command, approaching. His face carried the seriousness that had become all too familiar. "What is it, Corin?" Alara asked. "It's the latest council report," he said, handing her a datapad. "Several of our colonies are missing from official maps, and some records suggest humans weren't involved in the Orion initiative." Alara's brow furrowed. "Not involved? That's impossible. Humans led the terraforming, built the stations, and negotiated the treaties." Corin shrugged. "The data says otherwise. It's like we never existed." Alara's stomach tightened. She had sensed envy before, subtle and harmless. But this felt deliberate. Someone, somewhere, was trying to erase humanity's role in the galaxy. She spent the next hours reviewing the council archives, comparing records with the historical logs stored in Earth's own databanks. Every inconsistency seemed intentional. Dates were altered, credits for discoveries shifted to alien scientists, and human achievements vanished without explanation. Her communicator beeped. "Captain," said a familiar voice belonging to Ambassador Thalen of the Virelian species. "I need to speak with you urgently." "There are developments," Alara nodded. "Send the coordinates. I'm on my way." When she arrived at the Virelian embassy, she found Thalen pacing, his long silver limbs moving with an anxious grace. "Captain, I've intercepted communications that suggest a coalition of species is planning to rewrite history," Thalen said quietly. "Humans may be deliberately erased from records, not by war or force, but by design." Alara's eyes widened. "Erased? You mean as if humans never existed?" Thalen nodded gravely. "Yes, and it's already happening in sectors where humans were once leaders." Alara felt a chill run down her spine. She had fought in countless skirmishes and faced dangerous missions, but nothing had ever felt this insidious. The idea of humans being forgotten, not defeated, not destroyed, but erased from memory, was almost unimaginable. "We need proof," Alara said, trying to steady her voice. "If this is true, the United Earth Council has to know." Thalen handed her a small data crystal. "This contains intercepted transmissions and archive fragments. It's risky, but you'll see the truth." Back aboard the Eclipse, Alara gathered her senior officers. The room was tense, the soft hum of the ship's engines the only sound as she displayed the data on the holographic table. "Look at this," she said. "Colonies like Tarsus Prime, once a hub of trade and research, are now officially recorded as uninhabited. Entire fleets credited with exploration are attributed to alien species. And the Orion Initiative, our leadership in it is missing from every record outside Earth." Lieutenant Corin clenched his fists. "So the aliens want to make it look like humans never mattered?" Alara nodded. "It's more than that. They're trying to make humanity disappear from history itself. And if we don't act, no one will remember the truth." A young officer, Lieutenant Marrakesh, spoke up. "But why? Humans have always contributed more than anyone else. Why erase us?" Alara shook her head. "Because they are afraid. Afraid of what humans can do. Afraid of innovation, courage, and unity. Afraid of being left behind. And some are so jealous that they would rather rewrite history than share it." For hours, the team went over the evidence, documenting inconsistencies and marking patterns. It became clear that the conspiracy was massive. Whoever was behind it had resources, knowledge, and influence across multiple species and sectors. The next few days were a blur of meetings, encrypted transmissions, and cautious reconnaissance. Alara realized she couldn't rely on official channels. Some humans would deny the possibility of a deliberate erasure, thinking it too far-fetched. Others might panic, and panic was dangerous. She needed allies she could trust, humans and aliens alike. Late one night, Alara sat alone in the captain's quarters, staring at the star map of human colonies. She traced her fingers over each point, imagining the people, the cities, the lives built across light years. Humans had created wonders out of dust and vacuum, conquered diseases and tamed planets, and now someone wanted to erase it all. Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Thalen. "Captain, you're right to be cautious, but you're also the one who can do something about this. There are species who respect humans. Some are willing to help, but you must act carefully. If the conspirators discover us, they will stop at nothing." Alara nodded, her resolve hardening. "We've survived wars, plagues, and disasters. We've faced threats that others thought impossible. This is different, but humans adapt, humans fight, and humans survive." The following week, Alara and her team embarked on a journey across the galaxy, visiting colonies both thriving and abandoned, gathering proof of human achievements. Every planet they landed on revealed evidence of sabotage, missing records, and mysterious erasures. In the Martis cluster, Alara uncovered a data archive buried beneath a terraforming facility. The archive contained original logs of human-led operations that were now credited to other species. In the Ardent Nebula, she intercepted transmissions showing that humans were being excluded from interstellar projects they had once led. The deeper they dug, the more apparent it became. This was not a mistake. This was a carefully orchestrated conspiracy designed to diminish humanity's presence, to convince the galaxy that humans had never been the pioneers they truly were. One evening, aboard the Eclipse, Alara convened her team. "Listen to me," she said, her voice steady but fierce. "They think humans can be forgotten, that our history can be rewritten. They are wrong. Humans are more than records, more than maps, more than titles. Humans are courage, creativity, and determination. We will not be erased." Her team nodded, eyes shining with determination. They knew the path ahead would be dangerous. The conspirators were powerful and patient, operating from the shadows. But Alara also knew that humans had something the conspirators underestimated: unity and ingenuity. As the Eclipse departed the orbit of its last colony, Alara gazed out at the endless stars. Somewhere out there, enemies plotted and allies watched cautiously, but she felt a spark of hope. Humans had always risen to challenges that seemed impossible. And this was just another challenge. Somewhere in the darkness of the galaxy, a whisper began to spread, not of fear, but of warning. Humanity would remember. Humanity would act, and no one, no matter how clever or powerful, could erase them completely. The age of recognition was ending, but a new age of vigilance was beginning, and Captain Alara Venn was ready to lead humanity into it. The stars outside the Eclipse glimmered like scattered diamonds across a dark velvet sky. Yet inside the ship, Captain Alara Venn could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. Every discovery from their recent investigation made it clearer. The erasure of human history was not accidental. It was deliberate, and it was orchestrated by forces beyond Earth's understanding. Alara called a meeting of her closest advisors in the ship's strategy room. The holographic table displayed data from dozens of colonies, showing how humans' contributions had been systematically erased. "Look at this," Alara said, tapping the holographic projection. The Orcs Council records claim that the Varelians led the Ardent Nebula mining operations. Yet our intercepted logs show humans designed the entire system and trained the alien workforce. Lieutenant Corrin frowned. "And that's only one colony. Every sector we check shows the same pattern. Human achievements reassigned or erased." Alara leaned back, her fingers interlaced. "We are dealing with a conspiracy that stretches across multiple species and star systems. They are hiding in plain sight, using bureaucracy, diplomacy, and technology to erase our presence." Lieutenant Marrakesh, a young communications officer with an eagle-eyed talent for patterns, pointed at the hologram. "Captain, I've traced the transmission routes. There are hidden nodes, communication channels that don't appear on any official map. Whoever's behind this is moving information through them to control what the galaxy sees." Alara's eyes narrowed. "So they're rewriting history in real time. They control the narrative, and anyone who questions it is dismissed or ignored. Or worse," Mara added quietly, "they make it impossible to even know the truth exists." Alara nodded solemnly. We need allies. Not just humans, but other species who understand the value of truth. There are always those who resist manipulation, who respect honesty and fairness. We need to find them. The first step was the Varelian ambassador, Thalen. He had risked a lot to provide the initial evidence. Alara sent a secure message requesting a meeting on a neutral station in the Halcyon cluster. When she arrived, she found Thalen waiting, his silver eyes reflecting worry. "Captain, the situation is worse than we imagined," he said. "I have spoken with a few contacts in the outer sectors. They confirm that several influential species are part of the conspiracy. They are working together to rewrite records, influence councils, and control galactic media. They fear humans because we innovate too quickly. We adapt too fast, and our presence challenges their authority." Alara's jaw tightened. "So this is about fear and jealousy. They aren't attacking us openly because they can't. Humans are strong and resourceful, so they choose a subtler, more dangerous method, erasure." "Yes," Thalen said, "and they are patient. This plan has been in motion for decades, evolving as humans expand. They wait for the right moment when humans cannot resist, then erase our contributions from memory." Alara felt a chill. This was not just a threat to the present. It was a threat to humanity's legacy. "We cannot let that happen," she said firmly. "We must expose the conspiracy before it's too late." Over the next few days, Alara and her team traveled to hidden archives and abandoned colonies, searching for proof. They discovered encrypted messages, secret council decrees, and manipulated records, all evidence of the systematic erasure of humans. Every discovery painted a picture of a galaxy-wide effort to diminish humanity's role. In the Saphira Belt, they found a forgotten colony station, half buried under asteroid rubble. Inside, ancient records detailed human-led research in faster-than-light travel, technology that had been publicly attributed to an alien species. "These are our inventions, our discoveries," Mara whispered, tracing her fingers over the old interface. "And they want the galaxy to believe we never made them." Alara clenched her fists. "Then we'll make sure the galaxy remembers. Every erased colony, every hidden achievement, every human contribution, will gather proof and broadcast it." But gathering proof was dangerous. The conspirators had spies everywhere, monitoring communications and travel. A misstep could reveal their efforts to the very forces they were fighting against. Alara divided her team into small units, each tasked with retrieving data discreetly, avoiding detection while connecting the pieces of the puzzle. One unit traveled to the Outer Rim, where a remote mining colony contained vital logs of human-led terraforming projects. Another team infiltrated a council data hub, extracting files that detailed how humans had negotiated peace treaties and advanced interstellar trade. Alara remained aboard the Eclipse, coordinating the missions and maintaining contact with allies. Every successful operation brought hope, but every close call reminded them of the stakes. The conspirators were watching, adapting, and responding. One evening, Alara received a coded message from a new contact, a Zoran diplomat who had secretly opposed the conspiracy. The message contained coordinates to a hidden archive on a distant moon, a vault containing irrefutable proof of human achievements across the galaxy. "This is it," Alara said to her team. "If we secure this archive, we have the evidence we need to expose the conspiracy. But we must act carefully. This will not be easy." The journey to the moon was tense. They traveled through uncharted space, avoiding patrols and detection systems. When they finally landed, they found the archive heavily secured by automated defenses. It required ingenuity, teamwork, and courage to bypass the systems without triggering alarms. After hours of careful maneuvering, Mara managed to decrypt the final layer of security. The archive opened, revealing holographic records, research files, and historical logs, all showing humans' undeniable impact on galactic development. Every colony, every treaty, every technological advancement was documented, irrefutably proving humans' role in shaping the galaxy. Alara felt a surge of relief and pride. "This is it," she said. "The galaxy cannot ignore this." But their victory was short-lived. As they prepared to transport the data back to the Eclipse, sensors picked up an incoming fleet. It was a small armada, sleek and well-armed. The conspirators had discovered their presence. "We need to move now," Corrin shouted. "They'll destroy the archive if we hesitate." Alara made a split-second decision. Load the data onto the mobile drive and prepare for immediate jump. The team worked quickly, transferring the massive archive onto a secure transport pod. The moment the transfer was complete, Alara activated the ship's jump drive, and the Eclipse disappeared into hyperspace, leaving the pursuing fleet behind. As the stars stretched into streaks of light during the jump, Alara allowed herself a moment to breathe. They had succeeded in retrieving the evidence, but the fight was far from over. The conspirators would not give up easily, and humans were now fully aware of how much danger they faced, not just from open attacks, but from erasure itself. Gathering in the ship's strategy room, Alara addressed her team. "We have the proof," she said, her voice firm. "But this is only the beginning. The conspirators are powerful, patient, and ruthless. They have the advantage of secrecy and influence. But we have something stronger: unity, ingenuity, and the courage to fight for the truth. We will expose them, not with force alone, but with evidence, determination, and strategy. The galaxy will remember humanity for what we truly are." Mara nodded, eyes shining. "We've seen what they're capable of. But now, they'll see what humans are capable of." Alara smiled, a rare warmth in the midst of tension. "Exactly. We will not let our history be rewritten. We will not let humans be forgotten." As the Eclipse sailed toward its next destination, carrying the weight of truth and the hope of a galaxy unaware of the betrayal, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose. The conspiracy was vast, but humanity had faced impossible odds before. Wars, disasters, and cosmic challenges had tested them time and again humans had prevailed. Now, in the quiet hum of the ship, with stars streaking past in hyperspace, Alara knew one thing with certainty: this fight would be different. The enemy did not attack openly, but the stakes were just as high. And humans would rise, as they always had, not just to survive, but to ensure the galaxy would never forget them. Somewhere, deep in the shadows of the galaxy, the conspirators watched, plotting their next move. But they had underestimated humanity's resolve, the unyielding drive to protect what was theirs. The hidden conspiracy was powerful, but humans had something no one could erase: their courage, their ingenuity, and their heart. The battle for memory had begun, and Captain Alara Venn was ready to lead humanity into it. The galaxy seemed quieter than usual as the Eclipse drifted through the Hyron expanse, yet Captain Alara Venn felt no peace. The hidden conspiracy against humanity was no longer just whispers and missing records. It had begun to show its true power. Alara stood on the observation deck watching the swirling colors of a nearby nebula. Lieutenant Corin approached silently, as though he too could sense the tension in the ship. "They're moving faster than we expected," Corin said. "The supply lines to our outer colonies have been cut, and some trade convoys have disappeared without a trace." Alara's eyes narrowed. "It's more than disruption. They are isolating humans, making it harder for us to defend ourselves and preparing to erase us from history completely." Lieutenant Marrakesh joined them, her face pale. "Captain, the colonies are starting to panic. Without supplies and communication, people are afraid. They're beginning to doubt the United Earth Council's ability to protect them." Alara placed a hand on the railing, steadying herself. "Fear is exactly what the conspirators want. They hope humans will crumble from within before we can even fight back. But they forget one thing: humans adapt, we unite, and we resist." Their first mission was to reach Tarsus Prime, a colony that had once been a hub of research and trade. Official records now claimed the planet was abandoned decades ago. Alara suspected otherwise. As the Eclipse approached Tarsus Prime, sensors picked up signs of life: cities still standing, power grids operational, and people moving about in confusion. The colony had been cut off from Earth for months, receiving no supplies or communication. Alara convened her team. "They want you to think you're alone, that humanity is forgotten. But look around. You are here. Your achievements are real, and we are here to remind you of that." When they landed, Alara and her team were met with relief and suspicion. The colony's governor, a woman named Lyra Kess, explained the situation. "We've been struggling," Lyra said. "The trade ship stopped coming. Supplies vanished, and now, we're told our records never existed. Some of the people here are beginning to believe it." Alara clenched her fists. "Then we will show them the truth. Humanity has done remarkable things, and no one can erase that." The team spent days gathering records, rebuilding communication channels, and providing supplies. They restored hope, showing the people that they had not been forgotten. But the conspiracy was far from passive. Sensors on the Eclipse picked up unusual activity in nearby systems. Small fleets, sleek and organized, were moving in patterns designed to cut off human colonies from each other. The conspirators were testing their control, seeing how humans would respond. Alara called an emergency council on the ship. "They're trying to make us powerless by isolating us," she explained. "If we allow them to divide humanity, we lose the fight before it begins. We must act strategically, not just react." Lieutenant Corin added, "The outer colonies are vulnerable. If we can secure communication and create a united network, we can resist them and show the galaxy the truth." Mara suggested using encrypted quantum channels to link all human colonies. "If we can transmit evidence and coordinate responses, the conspirators won't be able to control the narrative. Humanity can stand as one, visible and undeniable." Alara nodded. "Do it. Every colony must know we are still here, and every achievement must be recognized. We will not vanish quietly." Meanwhile, the conspirators accelerated their plans. In secret council chambers across the galaxy, alien leaders manipulated records, erased communications, and spread false narratives. They presented humans as minor players, incompetent or absent, while highlighting themselves as the architects of the galaxy's greatest achievements. Yet with every action the conspirators took, humans responded with ingenuity. Alara and her team repaired trade routes using emergency shuttles, rerouted critical supplies through hidden channels, and broadcast verified evidence of human accomplishments to neighboring systems. The tension came to a head when a fleet of conspiratorial ships approached Tarsus Prime, intending to intimidate the colony into surrender. Alara and Corin coordinated the colony's defenses, not with war but with strategy. They deployed decoys, rerouted ships, and created communication disruptions that made the invading fleet believe the colony was heavily fortified. The alien commanders, cautious and unprepared for human ingenuity, hesitated. Alara used the moment to broadcast proof of the conspirators' manipulation to nearby sectors, exposing their attempts to erase humans. Citizens and smaller species who had been undecided began to question the conspirators' narrative. Lyra Kess looked at Alara, admiration in her eyes. "You've shown them we are not powerless. You've reminded everyone that humans are resourceful and resilient." Alara allowed herself a small smile. "Humans have always faced impossible odds. This is no different. But now the galaxy will see our strength and determination." Even as they celebrated this small victory, Alara knew the conspiracy was far from over. The aliens behind the erasure were powerful, patient, and cunning. They would strike again, and likely soon. But Alara also knew something crucial. Humans had allies, ingenuity, and courage. Traits no one could erase or manipulate. That night, as the twin moons of Tarsus Prime rose over the horizon, Alara reflected on the journey ahead. The fight was no longer just about supplies or communications. It was about humanity's existence in the galaxy, about memory, recognition, and truth. Her thoughts were interrupted by a message from Thalen, the Varelian ambassador. "Captain, you have made a strong start, but the conspirators are regrouping. They will attempt to manipulate more sectors, and they may try to turn allies against you." "Be vigilant," Alara replied with calm determination. "We expected resistance. Humans do not give up easily, and we will not be erased. We will show the galaxy the truth no matter the obstacles." In the days that followed, Alara's team continued their mission, traveling to hidden archives, abandoned colonies, and secret stations. Every discovery added to the mounting evidence. Humans had been at the forefront of galactic exploration, diplomacy, and innovation. As they transmitted this information through secure channels, a ripple of awareness began spreading across the galaxy. Small species, neutral worlds, and even some previously suspicious allies started questioning the official narrative. The conspirators' carefully constructed lies were beginning to crack under the weight of undeniable proof. Yet the danger was far from over. Sensors aboard the Eclipse detected another fleet moving toward one of Earth's colonies. This time, the alien ships carried not weapons but automated suppression systems designed to block communications, erase local archives, and intimidate the inhabitants. The conspirators were escalating, moving from subtle manipulation to overt action. Alara convened her team once more. "This is what they feared most," she said. They see that we cannot be quietly erased, so they are trying to force the issue. But we are ready. We have evidence, strategy, and allies. We will protect our colonies, and we will continue to expose their plan. Corin looked out at the approaching fleet. It's risky, Captain, but we can do this. We've handled impossible odds before, and we will do it again. Mara nodded. The galaxy is starting to see the truth. The more they try to erase us, the stronger our story becomes. Alara felt a surge of resolve. Then let them come. Humanity has always risen to challenges, no matter how daunting. This is no different. We will not just survive. We will ensure the galaxy remembers us always. As the Eclipse prepared for its next operation, the sense of tension and urgency filled the ship. Every decision mattered. Every strategy had to be flawless. But Alara knew one thing with certainty. Humans would not vanish quietly. They would fight, adapt, and survive. And in doing so, they would prove the galaxy wrong, proving that no conspiracy, no deception, and no erasure could ever hide the brilliance and courage of humanity. The great betrayal had begun, but humanity's response was already taking shape. Captain Alara Venn and her team were ready to face the next challenge, armed not with brute force alone, but with ingenuity, courage, and the unshakable determination to be remembered. Somewhere in the shadows, the conspirators watched, frustrated by humanity's resilience. But Alara's message was clear. Humans may be targeted, but they were far from defeated. The fight for recognition and survival had only just begun, and as the stars stretched endlessly beyond the ship, Alara knew that the battle ahead would define humanity's legacy. For the first time, the galaxy would witness the full measure of what humans were capable of when they refused to be forgotten. The Eclipse glided silently through the void, its hull reflecting the distant light of stars. Captain Alara Venn stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the vast darkness outside. The galaxy was vast, but the evidence she and her team had gathered made one thing clear. The conspiracy to erase humanity was real, and it threatened everything they had built. Alara turned to Lieutenant Corin, who was monitoring communications channels. "What's the latest?" she asked. Corin frowned. "More sectors are reporting anomalies. Human colonies are being denied resources, communications are being blocked, and some colonies have received orders claiming they were never officially recognized by the United Earth Council." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then it's time we stop reacting. We need to act decisively and visibly. Humanity cannot survive in silence while our history is rewritten." Lieutenant Marrakesh, who had been analyzing the intercepted communications, looked up. "Captain, there's a secure archive hidden in the Virelian system. It contains irrefutable proof of human achievements, and it could be the key to exposing the conspiracy galaxy-wide." Alara nodded. "Then that's where we go. This is our chance to reveal the truth to the galaxy, to show that humans are not forgotten, and that no one can erase what we have built." The journey to the Virelian system was tense. The conspirators were alert, and their patrols stretched across nearby star systems. Alara and her team had to navigate carefully, avoiding detection while keeping the Eclipse ready for anything. When they arrived, the archive was hidden on a remote moon, its entrance concealed beneath layers of camouflage technology. Automated defenses designed to keep intruders away challenged every step of their mission. But humans had a skill that no machine could predict: ingenuity. Mara worked at the control panel, bypassing security protocols with careful precision. Corin monitored for incoming patrols, ready to give the warning if the system detected them. Alara coordinated the operation, ensuring every move was calculated, every decision precise. Hours passed, tense and quiet. Finally, the last security barrier fell and the archive doors opened. Inside, rows of databanks glowed with information. Research, exploration logs, treaties, and records of human-led projects across hundreds of star systems. Every achievement erased by the conspirators was here, safe and undeniable. Alara walked among the databanks, awe and determination in her eyes. "This is it," she said. "The galaxy cannot ignore this. Humanity's contributions, our victories, our inventions, they are all here. And now we will share them." But the moment of triumph was short-lived. Sensors aboard the Eclipse detected an incoming fleet, conspirators who had discovered the archive's location. They were sleek, fast, and well-armed, though their strategy relied more on intimidation than direct confrontation. Corin turned to Alara, urgency in his voice. "Captain, they'll destroy the archive if we hesitate. We need to act now." Alara made a decisive command. "Prepare the transport pods. We will move the data to secure satellites and broadcast the evidence galaxy-wide. Every species must see the truth." The operation began. Teams loaded the archives onto mobile pods designed to disperse in orbit and transmit the information securely. Mara activated the quantum communication network, ensuring that the proof would reach multiple sectors simultaneously. Outside, the conspiratorial fleet approached, but Alara's strategy turned their strength against them. Using holographic decoys, false signals, and rapid maneuvers, the Eclipse created the illusion of a heavily armed defense, making the alien commanders cautious. The fleet slowed, unsure of the situation. Alara seized the opportunity. "Now, Mara, send the transmission." A cascade of data shot across the galaxy, cutting through the web of manipulation and false narratives. Human colonies, neighboring species, and neutral worlds began receiving the irrefutable evidence of humanity's contributions. Every erased achievement, every lost colony, every forgotten invention was revealed in full. Across the galaxy, reactions were immediate. Citizens who had doubted humanity's role now witnessed the truth. Some allied species, previously hesitant, publicly declared their support for humans. The conspirators' carefully crafted narrative began to crumble. Lyra Kess, governor of Tarsus Prime, transmitted a message to the United Earth Council. "Humans have been erased from records, but the truth is clear. Our contributions cannot be denied. We stand united with Captain Venn and her team." Alara allowed herself a brief smile. Humanity had taken its first major stand, and the galaxy had begun to see the truth. But she knew the battle was far from over. The conspirators were powerful, and they would not relinquish control easily. As the Eclipse regrouped, Alara addressed her team. "We've shown that humans cannot be erased quietly. We've exposed the conspiracy to a portion of the galaxy, but we must keep moving. Every sector, every colony, every record must be defended and restored. Humanity will not be forgotten." Corin nodded. "We've bought ourselves time, Captain. But they'll retaliate." Alara's eyes hardened. "Let them. They underestimate humans. We fight with courage, strategy, and unity. They can erase records, but they cannot erase our spirit, our ingenuity, or our determination." The days that followed were a blur of strategy, communication, and coordination. Alara's team traveled to multiple colonies, repairing communication networks, restoring supplies, and broadcasting evidence of human achievements. Each successful mission strengthened morale and demonstrated to the galaxy that humans were not a minor player. They were pioneers, innovators, and leaders. Meanwhile, the conspirators regrouped in secret. They attempted to discredit the broadcasts, sending false reports and creating confusion. But Alara's team anticipated these moves. With secure channels, encrypted transmissions, and coordinated responses, humans countered every attempt at misinformation. In the outer sectors, colonies once isolated and demoralized now rallied. Citizens who had begun to doubt humanity's influence were inspired by the proof. Scientists, traders, and diplomats worked together to rebuild what had been hidden, sharing knowledge and resources across systems. Alara watched as humans took back control of their destiny. She knew the path ahead would be filled with challenges. The conspirators were cunning and would escalate their efforts. But she also knew that humanity had a unique strength, the ability to adapt, innovate, and unite when faced with impossible odds. One evening, as the Eclipse traveled through a calm stretch of space, Alara received a message from Thalen. "Captain, your broadcasts have reached several independent sectors. Some species have pledged support for humans. The conspirators are losing influence." Alara's heart lifted. "Then we've done something right. But this is only the beginning. We must continue to stand, to prove, and to fight for the recognition humanity deserves." Corin leaned against the railing, looking at the stars. "We've taken the first step. Now we need to ensure humans are never vulnerable to erasure again." Alara nodded. "Exactly. This fight is not just about survival. It's about legacy. Every record, every achievement, every story must be preserved. We cannot allow history to be rewritten by fear or envy." The Eclipse continued its journey, carrying not only the weight of evidence but the hope and determination of an entire species. Across the galaxy, the first signs of change were appearing. Humans were visible again, their achievements undeniable and their spirit unbroken. Yet Alara remained vigilant. The conspirators would strike again, and the next challenge would be greater than anything they had faced. But she was ready. Humanity had proven time and again that they could rise above adversity. And now the galaxy would witness the full measure of their courage, ingenuity, and unity. In the quiet of the bridge, Alara allowed herself a moment to reflect. "We've begun our stand," she whispered. "But we must continue until every corner of the galaxy knows the truth. Humans are not to be forgotten. Not now, not ever." Somewhere in the shadows of distant systems, the conspirators watched, frustrated by humanity's resilience. They had thought humans could be quietly erased, but humans had made their stand. The galaxy was beginning to remember, and as the stars stretched endlessly before the eclipse, Alara knew that humanity's fight for recognition, for survival, and for truth was far from over. But one thing was certain: humans would not vanish quietly. They would rise, adapt, and shine, proving to all that courage, ingenuity, and unity could never be erased. The galaxy was watching, and humanity had begun its stand. The galaxy was beginning to stir. For decades, humans had been quietly erased from records, dismissed as minor players and isolated from the alliances they had helped build. But now, thanks to Captain Alara Venn and her team, the truth was spreading like wildfire. The evidence from the hidden archives had reached countless systems, and the tide was beginning to turn. Alara stood on the bridge of the eclipse, watching the communications flood in from human colonies and allied species. Reports of restored trade routes, renewed collaboration, and growing support from independent civilizations filled her display screens. For the first time in decades, humans were visible again, their accomplishments undeniable. Lieutenant Corin approached, a rare smile on his face. "Captain, the momentum is on our side. Many species that were neutral are now openly supporting humans. Some even want to help us push back against the conspirators." Alara nodded, determination burning in her eyes. "Good. We've reclaimed part of our history, but we need to turn this into lasting strength. The conspirators will not give up easily. They will escalate their efforts. We need strategy, alliances, and preparation." Lieutenant Marrakesh, who had been monitoring alien communications, added, "Captain, some of the conspirators' former allies are questioning them. They see that their plan to erase humans is failing. If we can secure these hesitant species, we can create a coalition strong enough to counter the conspirators directly." Alara's gaze hardened. "Then that will be our next step. We don't just fight to survive. We fight to ensure humans are respected, remembered, and never again left vulnerable." The first move was to visit the Zoran cluster, a region of independent species who had remained neutral, but held valuable resources and technology. Alara led a small delegation to meet the cluster's leaders. "We have evidence," Alara told the assembly, presenting holographic proof of human achievements and the conspirators' manipulation. For decades, humans have been erased from history, denied resources, and isolated. But the truth cannot be hidden. We ask for your support, not for conquest, not for revenge, but to restore balance and fairness to the galaxy. The leaders exchanged cautious glances, then nodded. "Your words are compelling," said one, a tall, blue-skinned diplomat named Veril. "We see the injustice. Humans have been treated unfairly. We will provide aid and join your coalition." The news reached the eclipse in waves. Across the galaxy, similar responses were coming from previously neutral sectors. Humans were forming alliances, strengthening trade networks, and rebuilding trust with civilizations that had once been distant or indifferent. But the conspirators were not idle. They launched propaganda campaigns, attempting to discredit humans and create doubt about the authenticity of the evidence. False claims and misleading reports spread through channels they still controlled. Yet every attempt was met with counter-evidence, broadcasted securely through the coalition's communications network. In one daring operation, Alara's team traveled to the Varelian Outer Rim to reclaim an abandoned colony that had been falsely declared destroyed. They restored communications, documented human achievements on the planet, and transmitted proof to surrounding systems. The colony's citizens, long convinced they were forgotten, cheered as their history and contributions were recognized once more. Lyra Kess, governor of Tarsus Prime, watched the broadcast from her office. "Captain Venn," she said, voice filled with admiration, "you've reminded the galaxy that humans cannot be ignored. People are starting to believe again, and our allies are growing stronger." Alara allowed herself a rare smile. "It's not just me, Lyra. It's all of humanity and every ally willing to stand with us. The conspirators thought they could erase us quietly. Instead, they've united us and revealed the strength humans have when we fight together." The next phase of the plan was ambitious. The coalition needed to confront the conspirators directly, not with overwhelming force but with strategy and intelligence. Humans had already proven that ingenuity could overcome numbers and intimidation. Alara devised a series of operations to reclaim critical systems, restore lost archives, and secure human colonies under coalition protection. The first operation targeted a key star system in the Ardent Nebula, where the conspirators had manipulated records to erase humans' role in a major terraforming project. Alara and her team coordinated a fleet of coalition ships to intercept supply lines, restore control of local stations, and broadcast accurate historical data. The operation was a success. Human colonies rejoiced as their contributions were publicly recognized, and nearby species witnessed the truth firsthand. The conspirators' narrative faltered, and some of their allies switched sides, unwilling to continue supporting a plan that was unraveling. Alara knew this was only the beginning. The conspirators were powerful, and their influence spanned multiple sectors. But she also knew that humans had something the conspirators could never take away: courage, creativity, and the ability to inspire unity. In the days that followed, coalition fleets moved quickly to secure vulnerable systems, restore communication networks, and rebuild trust among human colonies. Humans were no longer isolated. They were visible, organized, and respected. The conspirators' influence waned as more civilizations recognized the injustice and joined the coalition. Back on the Eclipse, Alara reviewed the progress reports. "We've turned the tide," she said, "but the conspirators are still out there. They will try to fight back. We must be ready for anything." Corin nodded. "They've underestimated humans before. They won't underestimate us again. We've proven what we can do with strategy, intelligence, and unity. That's our greatest strength," Mara added. "And the galaxy is watching. Every species that has seen our evidence now knows humans cannot be ignored. That knowledge is as powerful as any weapon." Alara looked out at the stars, feeling a surge of hope. "We've reclaimed part of our history, but more importantly, we've shown the galaxy the truth. Humans are innovators, explorers, and leaders. We will continue to protect that truth until it can never be erased again." The days turned into weeks and the coalition grew stronger. Human colonies began sharing technology, resources, and information more freely, creating networks of knowledge and support that the conspirators could not disrupt. Evidence of human achievement spread, reaching distant sectors that had never known humanity's full contributions. Even the conspirators' propaganda failed to hold sway. Species that had once been neutral now spoke out in favor of humans, demanding recognition and fairness. The conspirators found themselves increasingly isolated, unable to control the narrative or silence the truth. Alara convened a council meeting aboard the Eclipse with coalition leaders. "We have momentum," she said. "The conspirators are losing their influence and humans are regaining their rightful place in the galaxy. But we cannot become complacent. Our next steps must secure our legacy and ensure that no one can erase humanity again." Veril, the Zoran diplomat, nodded. "We stand with you, Captain. Your courage and strategy have shown what humans are capable of. We will help protect your colonies and preserve your history." Lyra Kess added, "The colonies are ready. The people are inspired. Humanity is united, and the galaxy is beginning to see that we are not to be forgotten." Alara felt a sense of pride and determination. The coalition had achieved its first major victories, and the conspirators' power was waning. Humanity was no longer on the defensive. They were taking control of their destiny. As the Eclipse prepared for its next mission, Alara addressed her team. "We have turned the tide, but the fight is not over. The conspirators may regroup, but they cannot erase what we have accomplished or the truth we have revealed. Humanity will continue to rise, to innovate, and to lead, and the galaxy will remember us always." In the quiet of the ship, Alara reflected on the journey so far, from whispers of erasure to open conspiracy, from isolation to coalition. Humanity had faced every challenge with courage, ingenuity, and unity. The conspirators had underestimated them, believing that history could be rewritten quietly. Instead, humans had united, inspired allies, and begun reclaiming their rightful place in the galaxy. The stars outside the eclipse seemed brighter than ever. Humanity's story was far from finished, but one thing was certain. The galaxy was beginning to see the truth. Humans were resilient, clever, and unyielding, and no plan, no conspiracy, and no shadow could ever erase them. The turning tide had arrived. Humanity was rising, and the galaxy would never forget their brilliance.